What's going on, guys? Big Mike, the 717 Outlaw here with you today. So if any of you guys saw on Instagram, I did have some parts come in for the Busa, but we are not going to get to those yet. We're going to wait for one more episode. Today we're going to be diving into the Busa to finish up some final touches for the extended swing arm, which is re-bleeding the brake line after we put a +8 extension on the brake line. So we're going to go ahead and re-bleed the rear brakes. The front brakes are good. I actually had those bled not that long ago. The rear, unfortunately, now that we put the new line on, there's air in the lines, plus it's just a brand new brake line, so there's no brake fluid pumping through there. So we're going to dive into bleeding the brakes on a Gen 2 Hayabusa, and I kind of started a little bit with tearing some of the body off, and yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but we're going to get to it. All right, guys, let's go. All right, guys, so we started taking off the body panel. So we took off the seat, and we also took off the speed hump, or if you have the the passenger seat on here, you take off the passenger seat. And then to get to the brake fluid reservoir for the rear, it is actually tucked right down in here. Or we have used a 4mm, 5mm, and 6mm Allen key. The 6mm take off pretty much any of the main screws holding on the body panels, like these here. There's pretty much 6 of them that use the 6mm, and the seat uses a 5mm. The 4mm just is used for a couple small screws here and there. But all right, we're gonna go ahead and get this taken apart and get this rear grab bar taken off. Okay, now that we have reasonable access to our reservoir, our brake reservoir is right here behind this body panel. But the thing that we have to do now is, after I got the swing arm on, we just kind of put the brake line on. So I'm going to make a few adjustments on this line to get it away from touching the exhaust. And then we're going to go ahead and zip tie this to the frame just to keep it flush over here. And then we're going to keep a bit of slack right here behind the brake lever at the I believe the cylinder, and just that way, whenever this swing arm has travel, it has this slack to play with, but the rear here will stay where it's supposed to be. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this done. All right, so you might have noticed that I covered this up with a rag. Main reason for this is that brake fluid is very, very harmful to paint, so I'm trying to protect the paint that is on this swing arm, even though it is usually that kind of stuff holds up against brake fluid. But this is all just precautions, just so we don't mess up this finish. So we have that end disconnected, and the main reason for that is that once this is disconnected, we have a little bit more play to get the remainder of the line zip tied down, plus it gives us the opportunity to change the angle to where this head is attached. So all right, let's get to zip tying. Okay, guys, so now you can see, now that we zip tied this, we managed to get it away from our exhaust, and we have it running. Put a few zip ties here on the swing arm to hold it in place, and we gave ourselves a little bit of slack here going to the cylinder. So now we are actually going to go ahead, add our brake fluid, and start pumping the brakes and bleeding this baby out. Okay, guys, so we have our reservoir topped off. Which, if you're going to bleed brakes, that's the best way to do it. Top off your reservoir, put the cap back on just so it doesn't spurt out. Some hydraulic systems can do that, and you just don't want it to get on your paint. So We have the reservoir topped off. We have our brake lines hooked up. I've double checked them to make sure that they are tightened. We did take the bleeder valve back here. We hooked a hose to it and ran it down here to a can, so that way when we bleed our brakes, it doesn't spurt all over our calipers, all over our rotors, and all over our brand new swing arm. So all right guys, we're gonna go ahead and try and pump these brakes a little bit, and I'll walk you through the steps on what to do when you're doing this. Okay guys, so we are ready to start bleeding our brakes, and just because I didn't go over this before, most motorcycles today take a .4 brake fluid, so we went ahead, made sure that there's a .4 fluid in there. Also, what you want to do when you're doing this is there is a pattern to this. What you're going to do then is you're going to pump your brakes. You don't have to do this in any certain succession, but maybe do about, and then once you get to the last one, you're going to hold it, and when you do, you're going to loosen up your bleeder, and as you can see, that's starting to stop. And before it stops, you want to make sure you tighten that up, and then you can go back and start pumping again. So it's pretty much pump, brake, tighten, and it's the same succession over and over again until this is either has no air bubbles in it or it is pumping out new fluid. If you're changing your fluid, you want to just check for the color. You're going to be looking for a lighter yellow, more of an amber color. We're going to go ahead and just keep pumping, try and get these brakes bled. I think we are good on that. The main reason I'm saying that is we're getting no more air bubbles in our line here. Plus, we are not getting any of the old color fluid. The older fluid was a little bit more on the brown side, wasn't as clear. Now this stuff that is coming through is a nice amber color, and it is pretty see-through compared to the old stuff. So we're going to go ahead and top off the reservoir, and we are done with our bleeding our new brakes, or at least bleeding our new brake line. But also, do not forget this small dust cap that usually comes on your bleeder valve. You want to make sure that you put that back on, because you do not want dust and things getting in that, because it can cause problems with your brakes. So we have this ready to go, and I think I'm going to pull the Busa out and take it for a quick ride around the block. Of course, I jump ahead of myself. let's get the seat and everything back on the Busa first. Then we will go take it for a test run. Alright guys, I am honestly going to end this video here. So this is what I'm pretty much telling you to do, is when you bleed your brakes, you want to make sure that no more air bubbles are coming out of your brakes. You also want to make sure that your new fluid, if you're changing your fluid, new fluid is coming out, and I don't mean just a little bit. Pump it a few times after that and make sure that all your brake fluid is refreshed, and that's pretty much it. And then, like I'm doing now, go ahead, run around the block, Feel your brakes out. If they don't feel right, if they still feel spongy, pull back in the garage, go ahead and redo all of those steps again, and hopefully your brakes are in much better working order. All right, guys, I'm gonna go out and actually test the Busa. I hope you like this video. I hope it's informational to you, and I hope that you like the coverage on the Busa and really prepping it to get ready to go. We actually have an event coming up. I believe it is November 24th at Cecil County Raceway. We're gonna be going down there with Send It Steve in his twin turbo C5 Vet, and hopefully we get to race him, and we're gonna be seeing if the Busa can break into the 9s. We ran a 10.3 at 138 miles an hour the last time. We're looking for that 9-second pass. All right, guys. As always, I hope you do like this video. Please give it a thumbs up. As always, drop those comments down below. I'll catch you on the next one, so always don't forget to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell next to it for notifications on the newest videos that I will be putting out. All right, guys, remember, ride safe, ride smart, always wear your helmet, and I will see you on the next one.